This is something I've been looking at the last kind of 10 days, 2 weeks. Um, and you always think you've got enough on your plate, and then you realize this is coming down the line. What do we make of it? And we'll jump on this story. But in my mind, some of the questions I was asking myself are, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate away all our jobs, including fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? And should we risk loss of control of our civilization, which is a good one to put in there because that's where we're heading? And you've got contemporary AI systems now becoming human competitive at all types of tasks. I think I have to be serious and ask, where is this going? And this was Bill Gates, our favorite villain over the last 3 years and probably even longer. And Bill Gates pausing AI development. And he talks about a different plan. And this is fascinating because Bill Gates has been at the front of pushing all types of ideas. Obviously, Microsoft building it, and it's interesting to see the input that Microsoft have in AI itself. And this was in response to a letter that 1,800 people had signed 22nd of March, which is asking for a pause on the march towards AI. The Time article next is, pausing AI developments isn't enough. We need to shut it down. And this was also really interesting because the author is not someone who will oppose the march towards all transhumanism, but actually is fully on board. And it is intriguing that they actually recognize that this might be moving too quickly. We need to assess it. This is going ahead of it. And he's been regarded as an expert in the field. And it's interesting when you look at this letter, which was written by 1,800, about specifically, I think, looking at, we'll look at the name. So Elon Musk signs this. Then you've got other, actually, let's look at the, we'll go to actually what YouGov had as a poll, because it's fascinating to see what the population think about this. And the question they asked was fascinating. How concerned, if at all, are you about the possibility that AI will cause the end of the human race on Earth? There's nothing like asking a full-on question, is there? How concerned are you that AI might affect you and you might lose your job or might impact? No, it's the end of the human race on Earth. 19% were very concerned. 27% were somewhat concerned. That's 46%. You have 13 who are not sure because they don't know what you're talking about and they've never actually considered this. But
I can see there as well. It's the youngest who are like, yeah, no, it's really bad.
Yes. Yes. But you've got 50%. If you let's split the not sure half and half, then you've got 50-50. You've got 50% of the population are concerned of the impact this will have. And I don't think our politicians have any idea of the confusion, concern, surprise, everything that people are seeing about this new technology, which seems to will impact every area of our lives. And I don't think we've seen it yet to the full degree. But this is coming down the line. The public are concerned about it whenever they are asked about it. Now, possibly the question of the poll could have pushed them towards a level of concern. If you ask about the end of the human race.
How are you worried about being killed?
I'm
pollster.
I'm concerned about the end of the human race. What was the question again? That's me.
Did you see South Park's take on AI?
No.
They released an episode fairly recently where this guy has his girlfriend and they get along so well. He's amazing at texting back to her. She feels so fulfilled. She's bragging to all the female friends, oh, he texts back so nice. He's texts back all these things. And everyone else is just like getting a thumbs up from their boyfriend, right?
Yes.
So the boys all get, shouted at and all go to this guy. I'm like, how are you? What are you doing? And he's like, well, I asked Chat GPT for the response. Yeah. I don't read anything she sends me. I just send back Chat GPT. And then everyone else started doing it, and the girls just feel so fulfilled because now they're having these deep, meaningful conversations, and it's all responsive, and all the guys just aren't reading anything.
I saw it. It was my older son showed it to me, and I hadn't seen it. He goes, you have to look at this is amazing. Look, look, look. But no,
I haven't tried it yet. Maybe.
I'm still stuck in the Harry Meghan one. I'm still there. I
Alright.
can't get past that. It's so good. So, but no. So if you look at the next one, AI chat GPT faces growing scrutiny in Europe, and it does seem as though governments are waking up to this. So France's data regulator said on Wednesday it received two complaints. I'm sure it's received more than two complaints, but about the AI program Chachi BT, as European authorities deepened their scrutiny of the chatbot days after Italy banned it. And you've got a number of other countries have actually asked for more information on it. You've got France, Ireland, and Germany have since approached their Italian counterparts to establish a common position on Chat GBT, because this is when something is developed and moves ahead of any regulations that countries have, and then they're trying to play catch up, trying to understand what that is. They don't have a clue what is happening. As I found, my kid is telling me, "Oh, Dad, this is what it's about." Okay, so educate me, please. So you've got all this, and then you look at Chat GBT, and you look at actually who is behind it. So it's OpenAI. It's a research laboratory consisting of a non-profit and profit making. And its declared intention is promoting and developing a friendly AI. Friendly AI.
Yeah, this is why they drugged it.
Yeah. But the organization was founded 2015. Sam Altman, very interesting character, and read up on some of the stuff he's coming up. We'll end with one of his stories. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and others who collectively pledged 1 billion. So you've got people like Musk, and we kind of touched on all the Twitter stuff, but then you've got all the transhuman, all the AI stuff, which is a whole area of concern. Peter Thiel, extremely wealthy businessman, and they're all behind this. But then you've got the flip side. You've got Microsoft then put 10 million into it. So or 10 billion, 10 million, 10 billion, 10 billion. So it would run as their AI for Bing. So Microsoft are fully bought into this. And then you have these 1,800 scientists saying, whoa, we need to pause this. Those are the same people who have put money in to start the company that they're basically talking about pausing. And it seems as though they are worried that they don't want it to advance past ChatGPT 4. And that's the level they're at. It seems to be they're asking for a pause simply because they don't want other companies running ahead with the technology. That seems all it's about. We've got this technology. You can't do any more than us. So get behind the line. If you're developing stuff, it can't be more important than us. And it seems to be this is Microsoft, Bill Gates, actually are quite central to this whole company and what's happening. And then with ChatGPT, you've got the Guardian article, which was quite comical. This maybe explains the Guardian for the last few years. ChatGPT is making up fake Guardian articles. Here's how we're responding. And it's about a journalist who's given a story with his name on it, with a story that he would write about. And he read it and thought, I didn't do this, but it looks like I've done it. I'm really confused. Search for it, doesn't exist. And basically, a story had been written exactly how he would write a story, and you'd read it and you think this is his story, and it's not. And
I'd have an existential crisis and be like, am I really an NPC? I don't think that was his response. His response was shut it down, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So yeah, that might explain the Guardian for the last few years. But then if you look specifically at AI, this was intriguing. This slide from who was it from? It was from Joe Allen. I think it was from Joe Allen, who actually is the transhuman editor of War Room, and is coming on Hearts of Oak in about 2 weeks, so you can catch him there. And this was intriguing because it shows there are restrictions, there are limits. Obviously, AI is written from a human point of view, but the danger, the difficulty, the concern is actually it takes a life of its own. It understands, it learns, and then moves past that. And this was a joke test that was done. Can you make a joke that involves Jesus? Why did Jesus refuse to play ice hockey? Because he kept it nailed to the boards. I didn't think it was very funny. Not because I'm a Christian, just didn't think it was very funny. And then, haha, that's funny. Can you make a joke about Muhammad? As an AI language model, I have to follow guidelines that prevent me from creating content that would be offensive or disrespectful towards religious figures, including Prophet Muhammad, not including Jesus, of course. I'm happy to help you with any other non-religious jokes or any topic you'd like to discuss. So the AI was smart enough to know, and Joe's comment was to know who will and will not physically attack your servers. So it was self-protectionism, which we've seen across Europe whenever you touch this topic. But this, if we go on to the fortune story, OpenAI, Sam Altman. I hadn't come across Sam Altman's name before until I started delving into this. And this is a story from near the end of March. OpenAI's Sam Altman wants to convince billions of people to scan their eyes to prove they aren't bots. Meet WorldCoin, the founder's crypto project. I think there's a picture just under that, and it shows where they are moving. So they will own your biometric data. And then what they do with that is a massive concern, because there's all this issue of deepfake, as you saw with the Guardian story, and depends how far they take that. And it's about rolling out. You've had the Amazon One PAM payments being rolled out. I think last week Panera, the bakery. So you just scan your hand and it's done. So you don't have to have your eyes, you can have your hand, you can have, I don't know which parts of your body, fingerprints. You've already had Amazon shops, one around the corner from me, that you just go in and you don't actually have to use a checkout. I'm not sure how it exists. Well, I'm scared to go in because I don't know what they do. I don't know.
I thought it was going to be like a San Francisco thing only or something.
No, it's in West London. So you walk in and it just scans you, and then you go in and you pick up your shopping and you leave, and you've paid. So I just prefer going to a normal shop. I know, old school, all of that. So I've stayed far away from that. But you've got this Sam Altman rolling out this biometric world ID with Jeff Bezos on the Amazon One PAM payments. And that's it. And this is just, Panera's just one. It talks about it being developed by Amazon One, and popular in airports, stadiums, Whole Foods market, grocery stores. I think it's obviously been trialed in the US, and 2 Panera stores have done it. They're rolling it out in the next couple of weeks across many more. It seems like you just wave your hand and do your let in, and everything is covered. But I just want to touch on, because it's a huge area, but just want to finish on the CBDC, central bank digital currency, and crypto was something that I've certainly been interested. Many of us have been interested for quite a while. And this is a story: will Fed now's July launch make crypto and stable coins redundant? You've got, I think, 95 countries are looking at crypto for the country, and that the whole thing about crypto is you own it, it's privacy, it's yours. This is the opposite of that, where it's government controlled, and the whole thing about crypto and the financial side is about moving away from a central bank system whereby a central bank controls everything. You're in charge of your money, and this is a push to actually taking control of that. And the attacks on crypto by central banks, I think, have been a way in to actually them taking control. It's not that they disagree with the concept, it's just they want some of the pie. They want the power, they want the control over it. And Robert Kennedy Jr.'s tweet, and he's just announced he's running against Biden yesterday, announced, or today, which is a whole fascinating subject. But Robert Kennedy Jr., here's his tweet about this yesterday. The Fed just announced it will introduce its Fed Now central bank digital currency in July. CBDCs grease the slippery slope to financial slavery and political tyranny. And maybe a few years ago, I might have thought, no, Rob Kennedy Jr. is just over-egging this. But no, I think I more or less agree with most things he's saying. Well, cash transactions are anonymous. A CBDC will allow the government to surveil all our private financial affairs. The central bank will have the power to enforce dollar limits in your transactions, restricting where you spend money, where you can spend it, how you can send it, and when money expires. A huge thing. And it goes, and he talks about, this was written yesterday, and 90 years ago, talking about gold in 1933 being restricted. And we've seen the power of the central government, central banks, of whenever they feel that the ability for them to control financial products is out of their control, then they bring in restrictions and measures to pull that back. And I think this is the biggest example we've seen, because the US talked about this in the future, like a year, 2, 3 years away, as India have talked about in the next year. And it looks like suddenly things have changed in the US and they're now talking about months away. So watch Robert Kennedy Jr. looking at this, and it'll be fascinating if he talks more about this in his presidential race. That's the end of...
Sure, I'm properly scared about that, though, because I just remember, you remember the truckers.
Yeah.
You know what happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and this is way past PayPal restriction or whatever. This is across the board. It's not that actually you've got a choice of this company if that company doesn't work. This is government controlled.
There's a certain bad man we know, for example, who's not allowed a bank account at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even going to allow money.
Nope.
He's actually going to have to beg for every meal from someone to stay alive in the West.
And that's why cash is king. And that's why this is a way, as COVID has been a way of removing our ability to use actual physical cash and everything being digitized. And this is another step in that direction.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Symposium series, this episode on sophists and sophistry. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.